Hey everybody, Brett from Stars Gaming here, back with the 49th and final episode of Season 1 of our Minecraft Ancient Warfare Let's Play. And so we are back in the original city where it all started, and today what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go through both cities and look at everything that we've built over the previous 48 episodes. So let's go ahead and start with the very first building that we had at the beginning of the series, which is this little building right here, and I guess it's not so little. This was supposed to be the tavern. We never really got around to converting it, but it was sort of my base of operations at the beginning, and for a long time it was also my house. And so there was, crafting areas, there was a smelting, cooking area here, the fireplace, and then we had a giant map of the town and the surrounding area, and then a lot of storage, and obviously our town hall block right here. And then up in this little loft is where I had been sleeping for the majority of the first part of the series, and then I had my own little storage chest here with some cookies and stuff that I found as loot. But yeah, this is the very first building that we started with, and I'm fairly certain I had this built for the most part before we started the series. So when we started, this building was already here. And from there, we sort of branched out in a couple different directions. The church actually was not here quite yet, but the fishery was, I think, the second building that went up. And most of that was just because I was kind of exploring different ways to build the roofs, because I didn't want to have everything just taper into the middle like that one. And so this is the first building I built with this like crossed roof that I really like. And it's a very interesting two-tiered building. It's got a huge area open in the middle for them to fish from, and you can see Martin's fishing away there. And then upstairs, it's actually open all the way through as well. Really liked this building. I wish I could have done like more to feature it, but being the fishery, it wasn't all that important. But I really liked the way it came out. And then we also started to expand this way, which is where all of our agriculture stuff is going on. This farm right here is actually the last farm we added, with the exception of one over there that we never got around to implementing. But these farms are the two original farms that we used to start the city. And then we sort of worked our way this way with tree farms as well. And so we basically have every type of wood growing here, with the exception of, I don't think we're growing any acacia over here. Or any dark oak, but we've got oak, we've got birch, we've got spruce, and we've got jungle wood. And then this is where our woodcutter has been living. The farmer here has his own little hut here, and this is also one of the original buildings. This has been here for a really long time. And then as we head this way, we've got the animal farms, which were pretty early add-ons as well, just because we needed more food than the farms could provide us. So not only are we making eggs and leather and wool, and I guess pigs only make food, but we've got the food and all those extra resources coming in from there. That is technically my current house, with the exception of the castle we built. We'll look at that probably last, because that was one of the later buildings to go up. But this guy here's got his own house as well up there on the hill. But let's go back this way, since this is where we expanded next. And the blacksmith's house has been here for a pretty long time as well. We never really bothered to put anything in here. It was more for looks than anything else. This has been completely empty, and then we had sort of like a makeshift forge here with an anvil. But yeah, this really didn't have any purpose other than to just kind of boost immersion by having a blacksmith, even though we weren't actually going to need one, because obviously in Minecraft everything happens through a crafting table. But yeah, as we continue this way, let's go look at the quarry, because that's a pretty old building too. You can hear my cobblestone destroyer right here clicking away. Basically, oh, sorry about that, got a little lag spike. Basically, we were harvesting so much cobblestone from them digging in the pit that we had nowhere to store it, and so I made this little redstone circuit here that fires cobblestone into lava right there, and you can see it going on right now. So that's just getting rid of the cobblestone while the couriers take everything else that's useful to be properly processed. So this is a 2-story building. The miners sleep up here. It looks like this guy is stuck, as usual. So we'll bop him back to work. And then we've got this little area here, which is where they actually mine from. And we'll go look at the other side there, but you can see it goes all the way down to bedrock. Really, really massive mine. Oops, sorry. And then if I head back up here, we continued working this way. We had the alchemist hut, which is where we were growing mushrooms. We never got around to mass producing them, but it is producing mushrooms, just not very efficiently. And then we had the inn/tavern that we built on camera together. We had the barracks, which is where I started storing the extra horses. This is where I keep most of these soldiers I craft. However, I keep them in chests, not necessarily walking around. So let's see. I guess we'll take a look at the park here. This was more of just a beautification thing because, you know, we had so many buildings. I wanted to do something different. And this was a good area to do it. So rather than build another giant building, we did some hedges, we did a fountain, picnic tables, park benches, stuff like that, just to, you know, make this look a little bit nicer and give me an excuse to throw down some torches in a relatively open area. And then as we head this way, we've got the docks area. This is the, you know, loading area here, and this is the other major warehouse. We actually never managed to fill that one all the way, although it's probably pretty close right now. But this was going to be the overflow warehouse. It doesn't have any warehouse blocks in it, but it's got plenty of room for them. And then this was our failed experiment of a ship. I guess it didn't really fail, it worked. It's just that the size of the ship combined with the size of the city and my shaders made the movable ship so laggy that it wasn't really practical to use. But it still looks really cool sitting in the harbor here. And so let's swing around this way and take a look at some of the other buildings we have. Obviously there's the Great Wall that wraps around the whole city. You can see it start there and it goes all the way down. It meets up with the house and wraps around it over there, and then you can see it comes back this way. That probably took longer than everything else in this series combined, with the exception of maybe the castle. And so right here we've got our Shakespearean theater with our little, you know, area in the center here, a bunch of overhangs, and then there's, you know, seating up top and down below. Pretty cool building. There wasn't really a use for it, but it was I think something interesting and different that, you know, we hadn't done yet at the time. So I really enjoyed the way that came out, although I'm still not happy with the red glass there. But if you watch that episode, you know that I put like a bunch of different stuff there and just got sick of trying new things. So here's another farm that we built and never really got around to implementing, because as you can see, this part of the city is still sectioned off from NPCs just because it was too hard to keep dangerous mobs out. But this would have been the farmhouse for it, as well as the probably the cooking area to you know, process a lot of this food. And then here we have the Colosseum, which if you hadn't seen before, you probably saw quite a bit of last episode, where we fought the Wither right here in the pit. But yeah, this is what it looks like when it's not completely destroyed by Wither skulls. You can see it is lowered, so the Wither didn't take out too much of this. However, he did manage to like bore through the bottom. And then there was the little entrance here for the fighters or what have you. And then over here we had a horse race track. Now I never got around to racing Alex on the horses in here, but that was, you know, sort of the original plan with this. Just a little test track, so if we wanted to breed horses or race them, we could see, you know, which ones were faster. And there was a couple extra stables over here as well. We've got our other quarry here, which is working. However, there's nobody carrying anything back and forth right now, so it's probably just full. Yeah. But yeah, it is up and working, and it looks like it got dark. So I'm going to make a cut here while I go to bed and come back once it's light out again. Okay guys, we are back and it's daylight again. Before we head back over in that area to look at some other stuff, I realized I didn't really show you much of the church, for those of you who hadn't already seen it. So, you know, we've got a lot of stained glass in here. There's pews on either side, and then right here there's a ladder that goes up to the, sort of like the loft area, and then there's a ladder that takes you to the top of the tower. So you can kind of get a decent view of the entire city from here. And so let's see, we were kind of over in this area looking at stuff. So let's start with the library here, which is completely finished with the exception of the bookcases. We're still short on paper for making them, although we probably have enough sugarcane at this point to crank some out. But yeah, at the time we didn't have enough to make enough bookcases, so it's not completely filled in, but this is what it would have looked like, just, you know, all the way around. And then if upstairs, we were going to do the same thing with a enchanting area right here. And so this did get set up. I don't think we used it too often. I enchanted a couple swords, trying to get like a soft touch. Or no, sorry, what was I trying to get? We ended up getting looting, but I was shooting for something else. But yeah, that's the library / enchanting area. And then we just saw the Colosseum. We've got the second quarry here, and this is, again, the horse race track with the little house here for the horse keeper. This area here is, or sorry, this building here is actually kind of cool. It was basically a power station for the windmills. So let me show you how that works. So basically the windmill feeds in here and it comes to this distributor block. And we didn't really have anything else to hook these up to. This one's powering the quarry. These don't go anywhere, but it was set up so that it could basically transfer power between buildings. And eventually I was going to try to connect the other one as well, just so we could divert all of our power through here and send it where we needed to go, but we didn't really need anything other than that one to power the quarry. Obviously we've got the windmill here, and there's another one over there. The blades aren't going to pop in until we get closer, but that is the other windmill right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We've got the two towers here that look over the gate, which goes out to basically nowhere. There's really not much over in that area. The other gate got a little bit more fleshed out just because that's the way we headed through to go explore where we built our second city, as well as there was some stuff over here at the time that we were going to. So let's see, we've pretty much touched on everything in this area, I think. Yeah, we've seen everything over here, so let's go look at this area now. So again, that's the original farming area there. This is the newer farming area here with the first windmill, and then obviously the second one was there. This is powering a couple things, but it all runs underground. Most importantly, it's powering the warehouse block in there. But yeah, again, it's all underground just like the other one was. And then we've got this nice little bridge here and this little park area. Not quite as interesting as the other park, but I had a lot less room to work with. So yeah, we've got this little park area here, and then this bridge which leads to the entrance to my manor up there. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. And so the wall actually connects to the house, and you can enter the house from the outer wall. But let's go in the front door first. And so we've just got this little like sitting room area. We didn't use this house enough to bother, you know, fleshing this whole area out, but I was going to put cooking stuff in here and maybe some like makeshift seats. But we do have the fireplace with some decorations. And then if you go downstairs, we've got the cellar, which had our nether portal, which is where our nether castle is. Actually, let's look at the nether castle, because I totally forgot it was there. So I'll show you guys that really quickly, and then we'll pop back out, look at the upper floors, and then we'll move on to the next city. Oh, don't go in there, man. That's not for you. So I built this staircase here because it was kind of tedious hopping up all those. And then this enters, or exits out to this, which goes to our nether castle here, which only opens with a push button, and then you can go upstairs and out to the balcony here. And it goes all the way up into the top portion there, so you don't have to worry about anything getting up on top of it. And because this is so high up, I haven't had really any issues with gas. Although you can see it looks like he blew this window out. One of them did. So let's go back now. And then if you watch the Nether episodes, over there's a giant like Nether fortress, which is where I was farming the Wither Skulls. I actually think we dealt with some Wither Skeletons at some point during that episode. Oh, there's a ghast. And then I walled this off just to be safe. So yeah, that's our Nether area. Didn't mean it like that. That's our Nether castle, not our Nether areas. Let's go upstairs. And so we've got this decorated with some blue stained clay. Balcony here to look out over just a nice little like parlor area here. And then this was supposed to be the master bedroom. Got some crafting stuff and a double bed. And then, like I said, you can exit out to the perimeter wall from here, which sort of functions as a, a balcony there. And then let's wrap around and head up to the attic. Now the attic doesn't really have anything in it. What I was going to do was put a enchanting area up here as well, but we do have these little nooks that you can use to look out over the landscape. So yeah, that was our manor. Pretty cool, but again, it was a little bit out of the way, and because we were constantly building, it wasn't very practical to use this, especially since, we moved on to the new city. This was so far out of the way. Even when we were working on stuff in this city, it was a little bit tedious to fly all the way back here, especially since we expanded this way first and then out that way. So I think that's pretty much everything this city has to offer. Again, this is the main gate. It's got the fountains and stuff. It's a little bit more decorated. And then here's the warehouse. I don't know if I actually showed you in here, but we spent a couple episodes on this, so I'm sure you guys have seen it if you followed this series at all. Let's see how we're doing capacity-wise, actually. Oh, wrong block. So yeah, we are almost to capacity, but this will hold up to 70,000 individual blocks. So it's still got about 10,000 left. Here we have the, basically the smelting, cooking area. One side for food, the other side for ores. But this is where everything gets processed. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We have, we have the brewery right here that, didn't really do anything. It looks cool inside though. It doesn't do anything, but we've got these big giant barrels here. And then this little area here, but yeah, it's not functional at all. It's just for looks. And actually, let's go inside here since we built this on camera together. We've got the bar area here, and it wraps around to the seating, and then upstairs we've got these little sitting areas here, and then individual little bedrooms. Obviously, we didn't have anybody renting rooms, so we didn't really need to build any beds in there, but we had the option of doing it. And yeah, so that is pretty much everything, if not everything, in this city. Let's get a nice little overhead view of it. As you can see, it's pretty massive, way more expansive than the other city is, but again, this is much more spread out too. So there's that side, and then over here got this whole area. The wall kind of splits out right here and wraps around the second warehouse, and then meets with the water in the harbor at the lighthouse. So yeah, that's City 1. I'm going to go ahead and make a cut here, and I'll come back when we're back at City 2, which I'm sure you guys are a lot more familiar with since it's what we've been working on for the last 20 episodes. Actually, rather than make a cut, I'll show you guys this castle. This is actually the first castle we captured, and probably the best garrisoned, because I have a lot of guards in here, and basically a full a full farm, and they farm it from inside so that they're completely protected. Let's wrap around here just so you can see it. And actually, it's starting to get dark. I might need to sleep here. I basically converted this one into an outpost back when we needed to be able to get places. And so you can see he's producing carrots for them to eat. But yeah, he can do it. The farmer can do it from right here, and then the courier just drops them off in there, so that they're never, exposed by leaving the castle. And yeah, it's starting to get dark, so I think we're gonna sleep here. And then we will fly off to the second city. So let's check the map. We want to be headed there. So I think that's about right. Close enough. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of really cool lakes and rivers in this area. I don't think any of them link up to the second city, though, which is a little bit unfortunate. But again, our ship wasn't really functional, so it didn't really matter in the long run. It would have been cool to be able to sail between cities, though. Maybe if I had a supercomputer or something. But honestly, I've got so much stuff going on in this series that I'm not surprised that it gives my computer fits. Again, the shaders alone are really, really taxing on my GPU, and then all the mods and the fact that we're building over a really, really large area. Okay, so here we are at the second city. Obviously the castle is the main focal point here. I've been through the castle enough times to where I'm sure you guys have seen it, so I'm not going to bother to look through now, because I've gone on tours, or I've taken you guys on tours of the castle at least like 3 or 4 times as we were building it. This right here is the first building that we were sort of basing ourselves out of to build this city. Again, this is sort of like a tavern that was basically just functioning as my bedroom for the time being. And then we built this building over here, which actually never really got a purpose. Just a really big building. The building over there actually originally looked like this one. It was 2 stories, but we realized that the height of the building was blocking the view of the castle, which was really unfortunate. So I knocked a whole floor off and lowered it, and then we obviously added the under part to it to just sort of flesh it out more. But yeah, so this building never really got any kind of purpose. It's just sort of empty and sitting here. Over here we have the next building, which was sort of like the farmhouse, and it was also going to be where all the food got cooked. You can see you can enter it from this side. It doesn't have anything in it yet, because again, we never really got around to a lot of this. But yeah, you come upstairs and you can exit there. And then let's head back this way. So from there we started to work, over that way and down. And so we've got these couple buildings here that also extend all the way to water level. And so let's go down to the Undercity and just sort of look at what that looks like. During the live stream, we built this right here and fully decorated it. So this is sort of like the bar where everybody comes and hangs out after they've been working at the docks. And you can see it's really nicely decorated. I can't remember who made the suggestion of doing the glowstone chandeliers with the trapdoors, but it really, really looks great. And then we've got skeleton heads as bar stools, and a couple deco craft blocks in here just to spruce this up. Really happy with the way this came out, although it's very, very crowded, but I think that works for like a bar. And then over here we've got the quarry. You can see him mining away there. Unfortunately, you can't really see it because of this, but they're digging straight down. And they've gotten pretty far, actually. But yeah, this is the quarry. There's plenty of storage here, and then plenty of smelting stuff, but they haven't dug up enough to where any of that really mattered yet. And then over here we get into the dock areas. This is the warehouse. This rolls up. We don't really have anything to store yet, but we've got plenty of space to do it in here. This right here is sort of like, I can't remember what we decided this was gonna be, but we were gonna have a little bit more storage in here, and then upstairs. Oh, you're stuck. Okay. Don't get stuck again. There you go. But yeah, this was just sort of going to be another storage area with a few other functions. And then this one right here is the fishery. This is very similar to the other fishery, just smaller. And you can see it's got a roll-up door on the side, and then a little bit smaller fishing area in the middle, and then a second floor just like the other one had. Over here, this was the loading bay. So we actually have a water entrance where you could take a small standard Minecraft boat in. You just roll this up, and then you could sail right in here and park and, you know, unload. And then this was the dock area. This river does go somewhere, but I don't think it meets up with the ones over by the other city. But it does go on quite a ways that way. And then as we pan this way, we never really got around to figuring out what we wanted to build here. And if we ever come back to this city, you know, we'll finish all that and give these buildings some purpose. And then right here we had the forge, which is pretty cool looking. We got sort of like a half-assed eagle head on there for now. I was going to try to look up a better statue for it, but I couldn't find anything I liked. And it's hard to find statues that are, you know, 4 blocks. I have a couple over in the other city that are 1, but they wouldn't work on a space like that. But yeah, so there's our forge just kind of jutting out onto that, or off of that little rock or hill. And then, as far as this half of the city goes, we never really got around to expanding it. But what we were going to do was just bring these straight down, and then build another row of buildings on the water level, and just sort of have another waterfront on this side. But yeah, that's basically it for this city. Obviously, it didn't get finished, but it had taken so long for us to build it, and a lot of the buildings didn't have purposes like they did initially, because in the other city alone we have more resources than we could ever use. And so building a lot of those again over here didn't necessarily make sense. I mean, obviously it's nice to have them closer by, but we have more cobblestone than we could literally ever use. It would take me probably a year of playing this series to ever go through all that cobblestone, and that's completely ignoring the fact that we're still producing cobblestone. Same goes for food. I think we have 3 or 4 entire chests full of cooked food over there, with more being produced every day. And this place is producing food as well, and all of the castle outposts are producing their own food. So we got pretty expansive with this playthrough. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the dungeon, so let's poke down here and I'll show you the dungeon real quick. Little bit cozy for a dungeon, I think, but I wanted areas for like the guards to sit, or at least the appearance of places for them to sit, and then the cells, you know. But yeah, that's all there is to the dungeon. Just didn't want to forget that. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to end the episode and, you know, the series. Since we've just taken a look at everything, and I think we've done just about everything we can do. Like I've said before, we are going to do a Season 2. I don't know if we're going to start back in this world or if we're going to make a new world. I wouldn't mind working on this again. I just honestly need a break because I'm so tapped for ideas that I feel like I'm just kind of BSing at this point, and I don't like that. I like to have stuff planned and have unique ideas to show you guys. Where, you know, it got to the point where I was recording these so often that I felt like I was just sort of winging it. Especially for this city, because I didn't have this one planned out nearly as much as I had planned the other one. The other one I drew a full city plan for and like knew exactly where I wanted to put things. This one I just sort of made it up as I went. And I had a pretty basic idea of what we wanted to do, because we were going to build a Riften-inspired city, and I think we definitely did. I mean, we have a city that we built on top of a giant lake, which is, I think, pretty impressive. We obviously didn't finish it, but it's definitely, you know, bigger than a lot of Minecraft cities I've seen people build. And it could eventually, you know, rival the size of the other one if we continued it. But Yeah, so as far as season 2 goes, I don't know when we're going to start it. There's a lot of games coming out in the next couple months that I wanted to free up space for, and that's part of the reason why we're going to take a break. Um, Definitely throw me mod suggestions for the next series. A lot of you guys already have already, and some of them look really promising. Um, I forget what it's called. It's like Millionaire. It looked like Millionaire, but it's not Millionaire. But it adds like some, what was it? It was sort of like Nordic villages and stuff, and it also added some more NPC functions that were a little bit similar to Ancient Warfare. And so that one is definitely one that I'm either considering or actually at this point fairly sure that I'm going to at least try out and add in. Um, there's also been a few suggestions for like Britannia and there's been a few others, but definitely keep them coming because I want to add some more mods to this and get rid of a few of the less functional ones. And then obviously when we come back, we'll either be in this world or a different world. We'll start a new city off the bat, and then we may come back to this one to try to finish it up. But yeah, that's the plan. So hopefully you guys don't miss it too much. I know I will, but again, I definitely needed the break. And there's a lot of awesome games coming out this week, actually. There's 2, and then obviously we have Fallout 4 coming out in November. So we definitely need the space on the channel. And yeah, so I think that's going to be it, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the series. I know I did. And I will see you guys back here for Season 2 of our Minecraft Ancient Warfare Let's Play.